Hi, my name's Glenn. This is Karen, my wife, and this is our bus. Hey everybody, Glenn Denman here, working on the bus again today. And of course, what else would I be doing except for working on the bus? Because it's so much fun, takes up a lot of time, but it's very enjoyable. So today I'm working on my countertops here. And so I'm getting ready to cut this out. We were able to spend a weekend over at the ocean here recently, and a friend of ours has I think a 1998 Country Coach, a very, very quality made RV. It's a 40-footer, and it just has the nicest woodwork inside and stuff. And of course, when I see all that stuff, I think, man, I wonder if I could build mine like that. And then I decide the answer is no, and so I'm not even going to try. But anyway, but I was able to take some measurements in his coach, and just to kind of get an idea if I'm, kind of going on along a similar line here of functionality. So I've got this laid out here a little bit here with this line, and basically I've got the countertop's going to go across at an angle here, and then it'll come out a little bit here on the end. And this line is actually about 1/2 an inch or maybe 3/4 of an inch out further than where it will be in reality once I finish the cabinets underneath. And so I'm a little bit premature on actually doing this part of it, but I've got a pretty good idea how it's going to go. And so I'm also going to cut 2.5 inches off the back here, and so that way this notch here that's going to stick out will go all the way up to the glass. And then of course I'll be cutting the paint off the glass, because I wasn't sure how big that window was going to be and stuff. So that's how big it's going to be there. I've lined it with wood now finally, and so the countertop will go all the way up to the window, which kind of gives you just that little bit of extra counter space, and I think it looks nice that way anyway. So basically, I'm going to go ahead and cut this piece down. This is a 3/4 inch MDF board. It's a medium density fiber board, and it's really difficult to handle because it's extremely heavy and it's 3/4 inch thick. It's different than particle board. It takes glue a little bit better, and it's a little bit more durable. And of course, once I have my countertop on it, my plastic laminate countertop on it, it'll be just fine. It's typically what they put in all the houses and stuff. So it's a pretty good product. And so basically what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna cut this down and make this thing small enough so I can handle it. I had to have my son help me bring it in here. I just wanted to bring it in just to size it up and see how it's gonna fit. But now that I have it in here, I'm gonna go ahead and cut it down to a certain point, just so that I can just make it manageable enough so I can take it back out, and then I can go ahead and finish the cabinets below. And then I'll do the finish touches on this and bring it back in and work on the countertop and stuff. And I'd like to do a complete video just on that countertop work. I've done quite a few countertops in my day, and it's really a pretty fun little process. I enjoy doing it. And so I've decided to go ahead and do the plastic laminate versus the granite, which is very heavy. Not that this stuff is light. So, but I really like the Corian stuff, the plastic stuff, but man, that's a skill that I just don't have, and I don't want to practice for a one-time shot. And I could have maybe done some kind of wood, like some butcher block top or whatever, but the way this thing is shaped, it just doesn't lend itself for a butcher block top, just because of all the angles and stuff and the size of it. This is going to be 38 inches out here, and anyway, it was just getting a little bit too complicated for that. I want to get the thing done. I'm good at doing plastic laminate, so I figure I'll just go ahead and do that. And if it messes up later on, I'll take it out and put something different in. I don't care. Anyway, so that's what this video will be, is building these countertops, and so we'll see how that goes. And thanks for watching. Again, these pieces of window handles, window bars, whatever you call them, they sure are handy for straight edges. I'm going to go ahead and just cut this right here in the bus, And what I'm going to do, I'm going to try to go ahead and just hold the vacuum hose up to it as I cut, because I don't want to fill the bus up full of dust. But at the same time, this stuff's so heavy, I couldn't even carry this back out of here by myself. And being that when you're working by yourself, you just have to do things that you don't otherwise want to do. Okay, so I've got this kind of a roughed in cut now. This end here I'll have to splice onto it to finish it out. That's what I'll use that extra piece from that came out of here. And I've got another sheet of this out in the shop, because what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and build the kitchen table out of the same material so that the design is consistent. And then I will build my my wife's vanity back here in the bedroom. That'll also be the same material. If you can see that, it's kind of dark in the bedroom there, but anyway. So this provides about almost a 9-foot long countertop. Of course, I'll have the sink will be in this part of it here. Again, I've got to trim this back more to its true dimension. I just did that just mostly to make the sheet smaller. This is about where it'll go, but I'll need to just straighten that edge up a little bit. So the sink will sit just about here at an angle. So I'll have lots of counter space on both sides of the sink. The stove will start about here. So I'll have about over 2 feet from the stove, or from the stove to the sink, and then from the other side of the stove I'll have about 14 or 15 inches from there to the pantry. So it's pretty well designed kitchen, I believe. And again, I've got that up against the glass. This all is going to stick out about 1/4 of an inch. By the time I put my maple face on it, that's 3/4 of an inch thick. That way my countertop will stick out about 1/4 of an inch further than the fronts of the drawers and the doors. So same thing down here, about 1/4 of an inch. And that worked out really well. Of course, I'm gonna have this, I'll probably do something to just kind of knock this corner off here, maybe make it round or whatever, just so it's not real sharp. And this will come back. I'll have my angle. This little niche here sticking out kind of just gives it a little character. It really doesn't do much for it, but I think it just makes it look better than just having just a plain countertop. So I think that'll work out pretty good. So on the next video, I'll go ahead and put the glue down and the laminate. So we'll see how that goes. Okay, so I thought I'd go ahead and show the progress on the cabinets here. Got a lot of stuff laying around here. It's getting kind of out of hand again. Every once in a while, a guy just has to go through and just kind of clean everything. And anyway, so I've got the main structure of the cabinets pretty well constructed. What I did is I had some of this pine left over from some stuff from before. So I went ahead and screwed it in to where I have the flat surface available to me, so I can put some screws up through it into the countertop. And I also have my pocket holes drilled to go up into the countertop as well. And the reason I'm doing that is because I don't really want to, I don't want to screw the countertop down or nail the countertop down and then put the plastic laminate on, because I'd rather have it to where I can always take this thing back off again without destroying the countertop. So I can take the screws all out, slip this thing out, you know, take the countertop out. Matter of fact, the way I have this built, the whole thing can be completely disassembled. So like I've got these bottom panels, those can come out independent from the side panels. That because I've got all kinds of wiring and plumbing and stuff down up underneath there. And so I really needed to have a good perimeter border of support for the countertops, because well, it's just a good idea to have something pretty much all the way around the edges if you can. And so but I also needed to stabilize these panels before I start putting the drawers and stuff in them, because even though they're fastened to the wall and fastened to the floor, they're still moving around like this. So I had to stabilize all that. This piece here, this is just a backing piece for the cupboard doors will be up against here. And I'm not going to try to put any little tiny, you know, places where a lot of people, they put those little pockets where you can put rags and stuff in there. I'm not going to mess with that kind of stuff. So the doors will actually cover this, or I'll just have a stationary piece fastened to this, and then the doors will be from here down, or whichever I decide at that time when I build the doors here. So this represents basically the face of the cabinet edges. So as it comes around, and then down here I've got it coming out, and the countertop's going to come out a little bit, 45 over, out, 45 back, so I don't have any sharp edges here. And so since the sink is at an angle and I've got such a humongous hole right here, then I went ahead and put this piece of oak back here, which is really super strong, and that'll create some good support for the countertop. And so I have at least a 2-foot space of support, or 2 feet that doesn't have support, but you really don't want more than probably a 2-foot span without support on your countertops. So that backboard represents what would be the wall if this was straight with the wall. So it's 24 inches back, just as if a cabinet was up against the wall and it was 24 inches from the face to the wall. So that's why it kind of goes over and turns, just it kind of follows the front. Then this part here, I put this in here just to give it some rigidity here, to square the thing up. This stuff's so hard to get square because it's just, the floor is crooked, the wall is crooked, everything's crooked, and you just can't get anything straight. But it needs to be square within itself. So I've got exactly 16 inches outside to outside, top and bottom. It looks pretty flat this way. It's real easy to get it twisted this way, and then you don't really know what's going on when you're trying to build your drawers and your doors or whatever, because you can make this thing square, and then you can make the sides parallel. But if you have the bottom out here and the top in here, then it's not flat. So it has to be flat, parallel, and square. So And I've got my toe kick down at the bottom. I've got to finish cutting it out over here. But a lot of people don't realize how important that toe kick is. I've got another bus that I'm probably going to be selling here. People have seen it in my shop. And but those cabinets don't have any toe kick at all. So when you walk up to it, your feet hit the cabinets and stuff, and it's just a good idea to have a good toe kick space all the way around. Mine is about 2 3/4 inches deep and 4 1/2 inches tall. So the cabinets are 35 inches to the top. By the time I get my laminate top on here, it'll be just under 36 inches for countertop height, which is a standard countertop height for any house pretty much. So anyway, so that's what I've got going. I've got my wood here to go ahead and build the 3 drawers in here. Now that I've got this squared up, and I can go ahead and build this, and it's nice and stable, and it's square within itself. I just hope it's flat. It looks like it pretty much is, but anyway, so I'm going to do that. The range is going to go here, so I'll need to kind of box this in a little bit. I'll have an access panel to all my plumbing and stuff in here where the water heater is, and my gas valves. And then down here, I'm just going to have a small drawer, have it slide out for my garbage can. And then under here, I've got lots of room under here for just soap and things like that. This is, I literally hate this furnace, and I almost wish I wouldn't even have put it in, but it's already here. So I just need to finish hooking up these ducts to where they're going. And but there's still room for stuff in here and for access to it for plumbing and things like that. And then here, I'm going to go ahead and put 3 drawers here as well. So I'll have a drawer on top, a big drawer, so small drawer, big drawer, big drawer. So I have 3 drawers here. Those drawers will be a full 22 inches deep. Actually, they're going to make them 24 inches deep. So they'll go all the way back to about here. Of course, it'll clear this, but and then there'd be just a spot here that's just kind of wasted space. You don't want to waste any more space than you have to, but sometimes you just have to. Anyway, so that's where I'm at with these cabinets. So just overall, get a good shot of it here. I'm ready to take my countertop material, set it on there, and trace it out to what it needs to be for the actual countertop. And then I can go ahead and put my wood on the edges, and then I'll get my laminate that I'm going to put on top of it, and we'll see how that goes. So I'm back on the countertop here, and or on the kitchen cabinets. And so I went ahead and put my maple edge on the MDF board, and it came out okay. The corners I thought came out really good. I'm going to clean all this up here yet. I got to clean all the glue off and stuff like that. So the laminate top is going to extend over the top of the edge. Matter of fact, I have a sample of that right here. It's kind of a darker top. It'll come over to the edge, and actually what will happen here is after it's all glued down, then I'll take the router and I'll 45 off the edge here and create a nice soft 45-degree turn down, if you will. So usually what I do is with a countertop like this, which I haven't done one of these for a long time, but usually what I would do is I would put the laminate on the top, of course, and then I would also put laminate on the face, and then router it off to give myself about a 3/8 inch to 1/2 inch wood exposure of the maple. And that makes it look really good. And so I kind of kept that in mind as I was putting this together. I got my nails kind of low down here. But if I can center punch these in well enough, or countersink them in and put some filler in there, I might even just do that and not put any laminate on the front at all. And if I don't put laminate on the front, then that'll enable me at these corners here I could round these off really nice just to make them even softer yet. I mean, not because if you put the laminate on the face, these are going to end up being sharp corners. If you don't put it on the face, you can round that off. So that's what I'm gonna work on today. And what I'll do here is I'm gonna go ahead and clean the glue off. And this all needs to be really pretty flush with the MDF board. This piece here, for some reason, ended up high. I don't know what happened. I had it all glued on. I thought it was pretty level. It's level here, high in the middle. So I'm gonna have to sand that off. So anyway, so we'll see how that goes as I carry along with it. Also, so I've got my sink here, and this is an LK sink. It's made in USA. Got it at Lowe's. And no, Lowe's does not sponsor me, and neither does LK Sinks. Nobody sponsors me. But anyway, but I've got it laying here just about where it's going to end up. This piece here that pulls it down tight to the counter is going to be behind this piece here, this piece of plywood here. And so what I'll do is I'll put the laminate on the entire countertop, and then I'll proceed to cut the hole out for the sink. It's easier to do that than it is to try to work the laminate around this big giant hole. And then you got the skinny strip on the front here, and it's just kind of precarious if you don't have it all in place. So the way this is going to turn out, which I really like, is I want to put 3 drawers here at 22 or 24 inches deep, like I have the other ones. And so the way it turns out, it looks like I'll be able to do that. So my top drawer is going to miss the sink. So I'll be able to put my by the time I have my drawer glides on here, the drawer itself will be about a ½ inch from the face of this plywood here. But it clears. If I can eyeball it down here, and I can see it's going to clear the corner of this sink. And I could even move the sink over a little bit if I had to, just a little bit, not too much. I want it kind of centered in this area here, but I could do that a little bit. And so that way I can get 3 really nice big drawers here, and then I'll have this double door here just for soap and rags and things like that. These 3 large drawers here. This is my garbage drawer, which obviously is not finished yet, but that's going to work good for my garbage can. And it's got the self-closing. All these are self-closing. They work pretty well for that. I still got to put the fronts on, obviously. So I think this is going to work out pretty well. So that's what I'm working on today. Kind of mark that just so I can kind of remember where it goes back. By the way, the sink was only $119. It was the least expensive sink they had, and it's 8 inches deep and all stainless. It's a pretty nice sink, I thought. So. I'm going to clean this glue off as much as I can here. I figure it's probably better to leave the glue kind of humped up in a big blob rather than try to clean it off with my finger and have it smeared all over the place, which I did over at the other end there. But no big deal. I can clean these edges off pretty good. Maple is really hard, so if I I'm thinking about taking my sander and just trying to sand that maple off a little bit. It just has like about a 32nd of an inch lip there. It's 0 here, 0 here, 32nd here. It's just got a little warp to it. And so being that the maple is so much harder than the MDF, I don't want to sand the MDF at all. So I'm going to try to sand that and try to keep it off of the MDF. So that'll be kind of the trick. Either way, it's going to work. The laminate will lay right over that. And as long as there's plenty of glue on both sides here, it'll work anyway. I just don't know how well the glue or the contact cement will adhere to the Titebond glue that I've got there, so I'm going to just try to clean that off as much as I can. Once I get this cleaned up, I'll show you how tight these corners came out. These corners came out really nice. I was pretty pleased about that. I got a little sloppy with the glue. I was kind of in a hurry. But it'll be okay. First time I'd ever done a plastic laminate countertop. It's in a friend of mine's house. It was a pretty elaborate job. It had a big giant peninsula countertop coming off of it that was octagon shaped, and that tied right into the kitchen sink counter, or the kitchen counter, the regular kitchen countertop around the sink area. And it was all one piece, and it was just crazy. I was only about probably 25 years old at the time. It came out really good, actually, but I've learned a lot since then. Whenever you do the laminate, you use contact cement, and you put 2 layers of contact cement on the wood and on the laminate. You can get by with only 1 on the laminate, but you always have to have 2 on the wood, because the wood soaks it in. The first layer, when I say layer, I mean coat. When the wood soaks up the first coat quite a bit, and it'll kind of act as a sealer for the second coat. So then you put your second coat on, and right away, you don't wait for it to dry first. You just put it on, and then you put all your other stuff on. You come back and put another layer, another coat on. So, because you don't want it to soak in too much and then not have any glue actually working between the 2 surfaces. Now I'm going to go ahead and take my sander to it a little bit, see if that works. Only about this, I think my thing here is wore out. I need to get a new pad. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get this to work at all. I'm afraid that pad's just going to go flying off of there as soon as I turn it on. If that happens, I'll just have to sand it by hand, I guess. So it came out nice and level now. It's pretty darn close. Just a tiny bit high, but it'll work. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna go ahead and set my nails here back in. This maple wood is really super hard. My 1.5-inch brads from my brad nailer, they just didn't really sink in as tight as I thought they should. So I'm going to go ahead and set those in a little bit, and I'll probably end up just puttying them for now. And then I'll go ahead and sand the face off, and then I'll be able to see really how tight these corners came out. You can see they came out pretty good. I took off a little chunk of wood right there, but I think that'll be okay. And so this should come out pretty good. I think I'm going to be happy with that. This is called a nail set. It's one I've had for many years. Kind of wore the tip out a little bit. I should probably get a different one, but it should work. I don't really like the way this is turning out here. That one came out good. The problem is the tip here is kind of wore off, so it's supposed to have a small divot right in the very tip, and this thing's so old that the divot's gone, and so it's not really doing a very good job. It's not hitting the nail properly. Some of these are okay, but I don't know, I'm not too happy with it. This one here, I can't even get it to get the nail at all. Not making a 3-inch hole in it. Guess that'll be all right. I'll have to fill that. I may end up just putting laminate on the face and just router off that corner. We'll see how it goes. Man, it just won't stay on the head where it should. That's terrible. Man. Not too good. They just don't set in there very well.
you like that, George?
Yep.
So you're gonna have to bring a extension cord over there. Look at all these extension cords you got plugged in. That's fire hazards.
Well, it's not a fire hazard.
I gotta go clean my own house. I swept Dawn's floor and I was sitting in there. She was outside. She just came in. Look at my face. I sat on the floor and she took her feet and kicked me over.
Mary, look.
Stella's in the house scared to death. I think the people over there are listening that's in that. Everybody's listening whether they want to or not, huh?
What do you think that sound there? So it's not bad, is it? It's kind of it's got a two-tone gray and black.
Awful dark.
See, there's lots of light in here. This is lit up better than the kitchen in the house. So what do you think of that?
I guess it's okay. I was looking for dark gray like up there, but that's okay.
Yep. You can look over at that camera over there.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
What color? What?
Camera.
Oh, you know, two times.
You're on TV, honey.
Great.
Well, should have bought a new one of these to do that with, but whatever. It'll be fine. So I'd go ahead and show a little close-up of the work here. It's not coming out as well as I hoped with my nail setting, but I could always, you know, if I decide to go ahead and just leave this exposed, totally exposed, I could go ahead and fill those and probably be just fine. It's not a big deal. That one's a pretty big hole, but it'll fill. I mean, I'd really rather not laminate the front. I'd rather just leave it all wood. So a few of these were kind of hard to get the nail set in there. That one I really messed up, but I can sand it down and it'll be okay. That one I might need to go down a little deeper. This one I kind of gave up on, but I'll finish those up a little bit, and that laminate will look pretty good on there, I think. Okay, so I'm just going to show a little progress report here. So I've got the countertop now is just leaning up against the wall. I've got the oak edge on it, or the maple edge on it and everything. And so I went ahead and built these drawers for this end, kind of this little peninsula thing sticking out here. So these drawers are 21.5 inches deep, or almost 22 inches deep. And they go back. I went ahead and put this cabinet wall inside here, and I supported it to that piece of oak going across the back there. And so these drawers are such that the bowl of the sink will just come right across here and just not even quite reach this plywood. So the bowl will go like this and then turn that way. And so I can have this full-size drawer stack here next to the sink, right next to the corner of the actual bowl. So this drawer stack worked out pretty well. They're 12.5 inches wide on the inside and about almost 22 inches deep. Of course, I've got the self-closing drawer glides on there, and these are pretty nice. The bottom one's about 10.5 inches tall. The next one up is about 9.5 inches tall, and this one here, by the time you figure that the drawer side itself is about 4 3/4, but it's about 5 or so to the actual bottom of the cabinet. So at this point, now I can go ahead and build my upper cabinets. I can set this back down, just kind of scope it out, build my upper cabinets, and keep working. So my laminate top will be in a week, and that'll be kind of a fun video putting that together. So anyway, hope you can see me there. So that's the progress for today, and we'll see how the rest of that goes. I'm going to go ahead and finish up this video on the kitchen cabinets for now, even though I'm not finished with them yet. I've got to get some more wood to finish them, and that could be a week out or whatever. I am just about ready for the top, to put the top on. The top won't be in for a week. So sometimes a guy can just build up too many videos and it just gets to be kind of overwhelming. So I'm going to go ahead and button this video up. So it'll be kind of a two-part video. The next video on the kitchen will be the actual installation of the laminate. That's going to be kind of a fun video because I enjoy doing that laminate and stuff, and it's kind of fun. Comes out really nice, and or hopefully anyway. So, but another project I am working on, I'm starting on, is my bathroom sink. So I got this sink top. It's some kind of a faux marble or whatever. This is the bottom actually. So this is the sink here, and it's an under counter mount sink, and it's a two-part setup. So this is the lavatory sink, and then this is the sink top, which I've already cut to fit in place in here in the bathroom. So it's going to go across, all the way across to about here, and it'll be about 21 inches out or so. So I'll have a cabinet here that I need to build, and of course that'll be another video later. But I've got this pretty much set up here with the plumbing is set up. I've got wiring set up and stuff like that. And so that'll be one of my future projects that I'll just have to work on as I get the materials. So, so the way this is going to work, I have to glue this sink to this countertop, or this lavatory top. So I've got it all laid out. I've centered the sink on there, and I have to go ahead. I'm going to use that 3M 5200 to glue this thing down, and that's a pretty permanent glue job. So once I do that, then I may, it's already got these 4 holes here that I'm assuming are for some kind of bolting setup. So I may go ahead and epoxy some 1/4-inch bolts that would stick down into the cabinet, of course, at 4 points, and then maybe I can bolt some brackets on there that'll help hold the sink in place. Even though that 5200 is pretty good stuff, I want to make sure that the sink isn't going to bounce around going down the road and actually drop into the cabinet. So I might go ahead and do something like that. I'll see how that 5200 works, and so that'll be a project for the next video. So anyway, thanks for watching, everybody. Hope you guys enjoy the videos. And this isn't a video for how you should do it, but it's a video for how I did it. So, and I enjoy making the videos and sharing these kinds of things, and I hope you guys can get something out of it. So thanks for watching, everybody. Take care.